ho, ho, and welcome to this week's episode of Water Level. I am Gables, and I'm joined by...
Jan.
We're gonna have to fix that in post. Welcome. So, Jan, what are you?
I'm this guy.
You're this guy.
Not a thing. I got this pumpkin. Okay. I went to Michael's. Like what?
Michael's.
Like I don't know, a week and a half ago, like 10 days ago. I went to Michael's, right? It's Halloween right now. Watching this, it is Halloween at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Michael's like 10 days ago, 10 days before Halloween. And all of their Halloween shit, gone.
Oh.
None of it. They have nothing. It's like all they have is these craft pumpkin things and like, a couple minor Halloween items. And the shelves are just completely loaded.
With what?
Christmas shit.
Oh! You said crystal shit.
No, Christmas.
Christmas.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the fuck?
You gotta start...
It's October 20th. If there's... Not only is there... Like, if I have a house and I'm putting out, like, copious amounts of decorations for Halloween or for fucking Christmas, like, I decorate for holidays. Not only do I have, like, a shit ton of decorations out right now for Halloween. It's Halloween season. I got all my shit.
Right.
Halloween's not out, like, done yet. All my Halloween shit's out.
Huh?
So not only do I have all this shit that's, like, out that I probably bought new shit that I don't know how I'm gonna store yet. Because it's like, it's all out. I just bought new stuff and then set it up. There's another major holiday between Halloween and Christmas that people decorate for. Right? People put shit out for Thanksgiving. You put out your cornucopia or whatever.
Yeah, your turkeys and your your little pilgrims. Maybe a few Native Americans if you're culturally, in tune.
I was shocked to see all the Christmas stuff. It seems way too early.
I don't know that I would be shocked, but I am disgusted.
Who's buying that shit? How is it advantageous for you as a business to put all that stuff out 2 months before Christmas? Who's buying it?
I can't imagine that Michael is like doing incredibly well in these.
It didn't look good inside.
I've been to a Michael's.
It looked like a Walgreens.
I've been to a Joann's. They're all struggling. I think because why the fuck would I go there when I can just buy things online?
Well, I was buying a pumpkin head.
Special.
I was buying a pumpkin head, and I'm like, well, I want to make sure it's
you wanna
like big enough for my head.
But
I don't want to just buy something online.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, it's. Reminds me of one of my favorite games, Resident Evil 1.
Terrible. What's your thing?
What's my outfit?
Yeah, you asked me about my thing.
I'm a TikTok trend. So are you actually. You're Lewis.
Huh?
Yeah, so there's a TikTok that went viral of a pumpkin man at a store. He's like an automaton or whatever you call those.
I'm not an automaton.
No, but he's a guy and he's like, I am. What the fuck does he say, Travis? Says something like, I'm not something. I'm Lewis. And then talk ends. Be Lewis.
No, I want to be Lewis.
Well, people are gonna start calling you Lewis now. I am a TikTok trend known as the Opium Birds or La Calm Fit. But I also think I look a little bit like a Chozo ghost. from Metroid.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. Look, I got a whole thing. Look, I look a lot better if I'm standing, you know.
You don't.
Well, no, on camera.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, hold on. So.
Completely out of frame. You're not standing anymore.
Yeah, now I'm not standing,
okay.
but look, here, I just really like my legs. So it hurts my costume, but I'm okay with it. More comfortable. The way you move your head around is sick. Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah, I like Halloween. I think Halloween is the best holiday. And I think that because it's like the only holiday that it's got something for everyone, right? You're a child, you go around and you trick or treat or whatever, or you do whatever the fuck the kids do nowadays because nobody trick or treats. But you do whatever you do and you get a bunch of candy and you get to eat a awesome holiday, a bunch of free candy.
Yeah, it's
you
great.
Get to dress up in a cool costume. It's sick. You become a teenager and it's like, okay, now it's Halloween. You can either, go out and try to sneak some booze, or you go and you steal candy from people's porches.
Right. Halloween goes crazy when you in your teenage years.
Yeah, you become like a delinquent.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this is the holiday where you can fuck around and people kind of
kill some black cats, stuff like that. I mean, those are I'm just saying some people do that.
You get older, like in college or whatever. It's like, yeah, dude, Halloween's fucking awesome in college. Dress up, they get fucking. Everyone just wants to party.
College Halloween is fundamentally just you're just in college and you're doing what you normally do,
but you're in a fucking costume. It's sick. And then you get older. You're like us. And it's like Halloween's tight. You go out and you hang out with people. Some people put in a lot of effort. Some people don't. Everybody wants to taste it. It's a great holiday.
Yeah.
They're at schools nowadays. They're not calling it Halloween.
Okay with me, I don't mind changing up the name.
Who does Halloween offend? Why do you need to change?
Oh yeah, well, it's always I think offended like hyper religious people. I used to have some neighbors that would they really didn't like Halloween. They also wouldn't let their kids collect Pokemon cards because they thought that they didn't necessarily have a problem with Jinx's blackface, but they had a problem with the fact that her name was Jinx. And that's not okay.
Jinxing is like a curse.
Yeah. So they're not fans. And every Halloween, when you going up and down the neighborhood, skip their house because all their lights were off and they weren't home. They would just fucking leave. Yeah, dude. I don't even know if they would actually leave or if they would just turn their lights off and sit in the dark like weirdos trying to convince them not to come to their house on Halloween. But whatever the case is, that there are some people out there that are offended by the holiday.
It's crazy because if you're like offended by Halloween, you've got to have like some weird Halloween ritual.
For Halloween now we got to go out to dinner at Arby's. Oh, or Makayo's maybe.
One of my favorite things to do on Halloween is to like play spooky games.
Oh, see, yeah, like one of my favorites, Resident Evil. Actually, I don't really want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is the fact that Alan Wake 2 just came out, and I can't believe actually how good the reviews are. Everything has been glowing.
They're saying like technically, like technical level.
On a technical level, the game apparently is awesome.
Terrific, yeah.
So what I just heard this morning, that the recommended specs for PC are apparently pretty high. Like minimum recommended graphics card is like a 3070. And some other shit where it's like, oh hey, you're touting some pretty high specs needed for your game, but apparently the game runs phenomenally with lower specs, getting like 80 plus frames per second on lower than the recommended specs at like medium settings, and that like hey, if you do have like a good PC, the game runs like insane-o good. And that it's visually like gorgeous, like the different environments. There's like foresty environments, city environments, whatever.
So the Alan Wake guys,
Remedy,
They made Control, right?
Yes, they did Control, and they're the original creators of Max Payne, but they sold the rights to Max Payne to Rockstar.
Okay.
Yes. And they all do take place in a shared universe. All of the games. Cool.
Are you gonna play Alan Wake?
Yeah, I really want to. I don't know if I'm gonna play it this weekend, like in time for Halloween festivities. Still in the middle of Lords of the Fallen, and that game's pretty spooky.
Lords of the Fallen 2.
Lords of the Fallen 2023 is what...
The second Lords of the Fallen.
Yes, the second Lords of the Fallen. Yes, I'm playing that. And I would love to transition and play a spooky game like Alan Wake 2, actually.
The second
Alan Wake, actually called Alan Wake 2. The problem is I really don't like transitioning out of games. When I'm in the middle of playing a game, switching to another one fucks me up. It makes it hard to sleep. I'm not good about it. So I mean, I would love to play a spooky game though. What about you? Are you gonna play any spooky games this weekend? Signalis, perhaps?
I'll boot up some Phasmophobia tonight. They got their Halloween event going on.
Oh, they have an event? What is it?
I think it's like they're taking one of the existing maps and Halloweening it. And then they're also there's like a thing that you have to go and like collecting something to something. I don't know. The last event they had was some event where you like decoded a message.
Oh, so was it like an ARG?
Kinda, but it was really easy. I mean, it wasn't like really easy. It was just stuff in the game.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like
special.
There's like now these hidden things, and if you find them, they give you hints on where to go next, and like you get all these things to decode a message.
Okay.
And everyone thought the decoded message was going to be like a hint to the next map that they were going to release.
Oh,
and they haven't released a map since then, and it's been several months.
I thought it was like years.
And so I'm like, okay, what is your event? What's the point in doing it? I mean, you get like a little badge doing some of the stuff, but you didn't have to decode the message last one. But yeah, I'll play some of that tonight.
Nice.
Put it up Signalis the other.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice.
Didn't really play much of it.
Hour, maybe?
No.
Less?
No.
Oh.
Like, I clicked start game, and then the cutscene happened, and then I stopped playing.
Oh, okay. So
I was trying to play.
You booted it. That's it. Okay.
Huh?
Like you said, you booted it. You were very...
Well, I clicked, like, new game.
Yeah.
You know, the intro cutscene happened, and I could have moved the character.
I don't even remember what that intro cutscene is.
It's like her face.
Yeah, it's like esoteric or whatever.
So, I tried to play it on my quest.
Oh, you did? Oh, so that's what made you bail.
So, the quest has some issues with...
Your Meta Quest 3, is that correct?
Yeah, the Meta Quest copyright trademark.
All right.
Has some issues when you're trying to use it as like a desktop replacement.
Oh, yep. And
it's like, okay.
Which sounds ideal to do. So what sort of problems?
So I was like, okay, I want to play Signalis. I have a screen of Signalis.
Yeah.
I also want to have the Bucks game going on up here. And like I could do that without much issue, right? I'm sitting now in like a virtual space. Or I could have been in like pass-through mode, and I could have been in my room and had this set up, but I already had my monitors on, so I would rather just be in the virtual. So I'm in the virtual environment.
Got your screens.
I get my screen in front of me. I get the fucking Bucks game up there. But the way that the headset handles like controller tracking and hand tracking, really fucking shit.
Oh, really?
Where it's like
controller tracking, or you mean the Meta Quest controller?
Yeah, like the controllers for the Meta Quest, like the controllers for them, that controller tracking. Right. But that's also like the same thing as the hand tracking.
Yeah.
Controllers in the hands have the same function.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, if you have the controllers and you set them down, they like automatically turn off.
Oh, wait, 1 second. Trav is being an awesome sound guy. Being great. he pointed out a slight issue. I'm gonna fix it. Just a moment. It's only gonna take a moment. Just a moment to fix this. Please wait. That's probably good. Yeah. It'll be fine. Travis, let us know if that fixes the issue. John, keep going.
So if you set the controllers down, they like automatically turn off. And there might be a setting to turn that off. I actually don't remember. And
Okay.
if there is one, like so that you set the controllers down and they don't automatically turn off, that might be a good thing.
Oh, okay.
But so you turn them down, you put them down, they automatically turn off. And like that's been kind of annoying. Like I like to wear the Quest 3, like sidetracking from Signalis. Just Quest 3 discussion.
Sidetrack from Signalis.
I like to wear the Quest 3 when I'm like doing chores and shit around the house.
Right.
Oh, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing dishes, I'm taking a dump. Like I want the screen on my face.
Yeah.
Because I can walk around, the screen will follow me, and like I can do what I need to do while also watching a show or whatever.
Right.
It's really convenient. You don't have to like carry around a laptop.
Very, very unique, premise. It's not going to really be able to do that with anything else.
I've taken to not setting my controllers down when I'm doing those things. I put them in my pockets.
Oh, why?
That's because if I set them on a flat surface, the computers inside the controllers recognize that they're placed on a flat surface. That means they're no longer in hands, and I can turn the controllers off, and that enables hand tracking on the headset.
Oh,
And if hand tracking's enabled, when I fucking am brushing my teeth, it's seeing my hands, and it's thinking I'm grabbing something
confused.
or something.
I
see. It's fucking touching the video and clicking around and fucking shit up. And
that's
it's like
annoying.
Super fucking annoying.
Jesus.
And so it's like, okay, I take the controllers, I put them in my pockets, and now the fucking Quest is like, well, the controllers are active, so the hands, they'll show, but they don't have like the functionality enabled.
Right.
You can disable hand tracking.
Okay, yep.
And say, hey, I don't want hand tracking enabled ever. I want to only use the controllers.
Right,
If you take the controllers and set them down somewhere and they turn off, your fucking headset itself becomes like a mouse pointer.
Oh.
And like if I'm in like my desktop, it's just constantly pointing at shit and clicking. And
Jesus Christ.
It's constantly pointing at shit. It's not clicking. I have to click the buttons to click.
Right.
But it's like I now have a mouse pointer going on my screen. And so like
that's annoying.
Back to Signalis. I'm booted up in Signalis. And I'm on the desktop. I'm like, okay, I don't want to use the VR controllers in Signalis. I don't even know how the fuck that would work. I want to use like the gamepad because there's controls for a gamepad.
And this is all remoting to your desktop, right? Like you're playing on your desktop.
Yeah.
Gamepad
I'm not
connected
playing
to your
on the Quest 3. I'm using an app in the Quest 3 to remote to my desktop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I want to disable hand tracking because if I'm holding my controller and I start, moving my hands on the controller, it's starting to interact with the giant screen that I've laid out in front of me.
Gotcha.
I made the screen giant in front of me, and so now it's picking up my hands, and it's not only is it clicking, it's occasionally changing like the controls, like it's automatically registering that like, oh, that's a PC input, so I'm gonna flash all the controls now in a PC interface.
Jesus Christ.
And so it's like now, like it's like I walk up to something, it's like press A, but like, oh, I moved my thumb, and so now A is X, and as soon as I press a tap on the controller again, it goes back. It's just fucking annoying.
It's just annoying, yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I want to disable hand tracking, so I disable hand tracking, and it's like, okay, I put the controllers down, and then it's like, oh well, you don't have a way to interface with the headset now because there's no hand tracking enabled, and the controllers are off, and so there's no controllers, there's no hand tracking. So how do you interact with the headset? And so it goes to fucking pointer mode. And now I have a mouse that's just going 100% of the time in Signalis. And like, if I tap a controller, it instantly just flashes, like it flashes the controller and then instantly goes back to like showing PC controls.
Oh, annoying.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like I could make this work without much issue. I just need to take the controllers and orient them in a way that like they're on my person facing down, not laying flat, and they'll stay active.
Yeah.
Or I just deal with the hand tracking and I hold my controller like, down when I'm playing so that it's not interfering in the screen space. But I was like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, fuck
So I
that.
booted Signalis, but I haven't really played it. The spooky part was the MetaQuest 3 software.
Damn.
Ooh.
Fuck you, MetaQuest.
It's so close to being really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I tried yours, and I mean, all I did was just kind of look through like the augmented reality kind of, vibe, and just kind of get a check. But, it seemed pretty suck. I mean, like, from the perspective that like it's scuffed, but I could see the potential. I think is the thing. There's so much clear potential, but it comes across. I mean, it reminded me of my PlayStation VR experience, where it's like, oh yeah, this super low res. It's not the most comfortable headset, whatever. Like, and I'm not saying those are the exact equivalents, but my point was that like, hey, despite all the technical downsides, AR VR stuff is cool and it's fun to experience. It's just that man, like nobody's really nailed it yet.
Yeah,
But once
it made
they
me
do,
wonder
it's
if the Apple
crazy.
one's like fucking sick.
I wonder. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Apple stuff is hit or miss for me. I mean, the one thing that you can count on with Apple stuff is a level of polish, but that usually comes at the cost of flexibility. So I would expect that, for example, the Apple headset won't be able to connect to PCs in any easy way. Like they have it set so that if you look at your Mac screen, it'll just like, oh, your Mac is being broadcasted into your headset now. Like super seamless, super cool. I would bet that like there's not even going to be a PC remote desktop app on. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would expect from Apple. So it's like, oh, it's like cooler, it's more polished. I can't even use it for what I would want to use it for, and that's how I feel about everything on Mac. You know?
Yeah, I mean that would ruin the entire appeal, I
Right.
think, of the device. Is
Right.
that it's flexible and that
Yes.
as you're using it, you're like, oh, I can use it to do this. Neat.
Right. Right. Right.
And so yeah, the more you try to lock that down, the more you lose from like
Yeah.
really what the actual appeal is.
The actual appeal, which is to me, I think like a sick combination of mobile computing and desktop computing. Like the fact that it's AR is almost inconsequential because the idea is that like, hey, I'm on my computer, I can go keep watching my show on the toilet, but while I'm brushing my teeth. You can do that with a phone attached to a fucking neck strap like I have. You know, it's just like, oh, you're limited to the capabilities of your phone, but being able to have like these bigger screens, desktop, power, all these things, is super appealing. So yeah, I don't have a lot of hopes for like the Apple one, but maybe Apple's really diving into gaming. Maybe you'll be able to play Fortnite native on your fucking Apple Vision
So
Quest.
that's the thing too about the Quest that I found really interesting was like I was reading reviews for it
Uh huh.
and people were like 7 out of 10. It seems all right,
That
but
sounds
like
about right. 7 out of 10.
there's no games for it, and so that's really what's holding it back. And I'm like, games are not what I want to do on this thing.
Yeah.
It's way cooler as like kind of like what you said. It's like a
Right.
mobile computing device.
Yeah, it's like a weird hybrid thing, and yeah, maybe some gaming would be cool to do on it, but I don't know. Like you tried to do some gaming on it, and then it's like, oh, this
It's
is
stuff.
stuff.
And when people are complaining about the gaming, though,
They're
not
talking about
they're talking about like, oh, in the MetaQuest store, there's not good enough applications. There's no
right.
Who gives a fuck?
I am interested in playing the Resident Evil 4 not remake VR that came out exclusive to the MetaQuest. People say it's fucking awesome. It's probably like one of the better VR games available, at least on that platform. So I'm kind of interested in that, but bro, I'm not buying a MetaQuest for that. But I would buy a MetaQuest for like all of the other shit. And hey, if that means that I can also play RE4 VR, like cool, nice, like it's a little benefit. But it's not what I would buy one for. And I think a lot of people are buying it as like a gaming device, and it's like, Jesus, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think it's a
Just
gaming
watch
device.
just watch some fucking YouTube and Crunchyroll and Pornhub, whatever you feel, like that's what it's for.
So there are other things like wrong with it. That's like what the fuck's going on? Where like Netflix doesn't work.
Netflix, no worky.
You can't go on the internet on it and be like, let me go to and watch Netflix.
Oh, because
It's
there's
like,
like
hey, you
no.
don't have the right fucking plugins, and you can't download them because it's a fucking Meta Quest 3.
What? And they
You
don't
can't
have
watch
like a
Netflix.
Netflix app.
I think they used to, but like they don't,
And it's
or
like
they
fucked
do,
up,
but
or
it
I
also
don't know.
doesn't work or something. It's
They're like,
fucked
yeah,
up.
we didn't design Netflix to be used this way, so
That's
go
a
fuck
part of
yourself.
the reason why I got the desktop thing, because
Right,
I
so
had
you
to
could just
buy an app
desktop.
in the store to like really do the good.
How much did that cost you, by the way?
$20.
Jesus, that's fine.
And it was like, yeah, because Netflix doesn't work, Hulu and shit I think don't work, like or maybe Hulu does, but there's like shit that you're like, oh, I would like to watch a Netflix
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
It's like that doesn't work in their default browser. And so you could try to download another browser, but like because it's their app store, they have that locked down. So it's not like there's like browser alternative you can download. And it's like, oh, okay, so really what you have to do is just fucking mirror your desktop if you want to watch something like Netflix.
Which again, I think that's a totally fine alternative. The fact that you had to pay for an app is annoying, but that's fine. And in fact, I would argue I would prefer like, yeah, I can just use like my computer and all the apps and all the shit that I like on it in a virtual space. I think sounds awesome. Which again is why I worry about something like the Apple Vision Pro or whatever the fuck, because I guarantee it's going to be so locked down to the Apple ecosystem that it's going to lose a lot of that, genuine appeal. But I don't know. I'm going to get the PSVR 2 though, so that I can play
when are you gonna get that? That's been out forever.
Resident Evil 8 VR and Resident Evil 4 Remake VR and Among Us VR. Among Us is kind of a spooky horror game.
When are you getting that? It's been out forever.
Probably like around the holidays. I'll like give it to myself as like a little like, oh, Merry Christmas.
And you're excited to play those VR games?
Excited I don't think is the right word. Because no, I'm really not that excited. I'm interested in all three of those, but if I was excited about it, I would have bought it already, I think. I'm not. I had the PSVR 1. It was an okay experience. I know the PSVR 2 is way, way higher quality. Like, I know. But I just didn't get as much use out of the VR headset as I would have wanted for what it cost. And I know that the PSVR 2 costs more. It does have a bigger library already, which is nice, but I don't know. I'm just not. I'm not hyped about it.
Can you play the Half-Life game on PSVR?
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure that's a Steam exclusive.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Also,
rumors have started picking up about the next Steam VR headset.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. We tweeted about this actually.
Huh?
Yeah, we did.
You're stealing my info?
Nope, not me.
Huh?
Yeah, we've got Travis handling our Twitter now. Shout out Travioli, Travacado, Chattioli. Yeah, Chattioli's been our exclusive social media tweeter. Xer. XXX.
Stealing my
ideas. XNXX. Yeah, so he's been tweeting your ideas.
There has been a lot of rumors about it recently.
Trav, tweet that we're live.
So Steam VR 2.0 came out, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days ago. Oh no, it's Halloween, so like 5 or 6 days ago. Like in it, there's like some stuff that alludes to some type of headset that they don't have out yet.
That's crazy, isn't it? Can you tell my finger is like in my nose? No. Okay.
There's really no information on it. There have been rumors floating around. Project Deckard is what they're calling it. Shout out Leah.
Who? Leah Martinez?
And
what are you talking about?
The rumors are basically, it's going to be a wireless headset. It's going to be like, the more what's going on now in VR headsets.
Oh, right.
They aren't just a thing that you plug into your computer. They're like the Meta Quest 3.
It's an AR VR experience. It's
that can also plug into your computer.
Or other MIDI devices.
There's been some smoke around Steam Remote Play recently too.
Smoke?
That like there's something going on with Steam Remote Play, that it's getting overhauled or something, and people think that is related to the headset because they don't want you to wire into your PC. They want it to be wireless. So they're going to run through Steam Remote Play, and so they're
Interesting.
hoping, like, because like the new PlayStation portable thing that came out.
Oh yeah, just like that.
And it's like, okay, PlayStation has
shout
their
out
own
Shill
remote,
Up for saying that device is a piece of shit.
PlayStation has their own remote play thing that they do that's like ultra low latency because they're all on some
because they're doing
API
their
bullshit that's like, it's faster, they can talk
Yeah,
to each
yeah.
other faster. Steam Remote Play does the same thing, but Steam's has a little more latency, and so I guess they're trying to fix that because there's like there's out of the box alternatives to Steam Remote Play that provide reduced latency.
Yep.
And so there's been some smoke about them overhauling Steam Remote Play, and they think that is related to the release of the new headset.
That all is sounding like legit smoke to me. There's a fire burning.
That's what I think. I think that thing's coming out soon.
You think, all right, so similar to like we talked about with the Switch 2. No way they're announcing that right now, right? Because it's too close to the holiday season.
Yeah. They'll wait until after they can catch in.
So
unless they were like releasing it.
Oh, yeah.
If they were like, we're announcing it because it's out on fucking Black Friday.
So how soon is soon for the Valve, what's a good name for it? We're not going to call it the Valve Index 2. What's a good name for the, maybe we'll save that one for after the break and we'll go over potential Valve, but we can talk about it now.
Like, what are they? I don't give a fuck what they call it.
You don't, but I think it should be called the maybe like the Valve MDA. For it's the Valve multi-dimensional array. Something like that. Like a step beyond just an index in the array. But and it's not even just the array. No, it's the multi-dimensional array.
Yeah, here's the thing. I hate this.
What, the masks and shit?
Huh? No, your idea.
Oh. Okay, well, we'll call it the Valve Index 2 then.
I don't think they care about the holiday season. They're going to have the same shit as the Index where they can't make them fast enough.
Oh,
so it doesn't matter.
So you think they're going to announce it in the next couple of weeks?
Well, they'll announce it when it's ready.
Yeah, when do you think that's going to be?
Within the next 6 months.
Oh, okay. That's a good... All right, cool timeline.
I think that, you want some space from, like, the MetaQuest 3 because that just came out.
Oh.
And, that's not...
I don't even know when that Apple one's coming out.
I thought that was out.
The Vision? No. Is it? Trav? I didn't think it was out. Travis? Shout out Chattioli. Well, yeah, that's too bad that your, Signalis experience was so dampened.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides to the MetaQuest 3 is, just sometimes things are a little scuffed, but you weigh all the cons, and then you look at the porn and you say, all right,
well, I'm glad I spent this money.
Yep.
How long does it usually take you? Like, are you in a hurry? Or do you relish? Travis? What else you got?
That's really all. I didn't play a whole lot of games this week. Tried to play Signalis, playing Phasmophobia tonight.
Are you interested at all in playing Alan Wake 2?
No.
No.
I didn't like Alan Wake 1.
I didn't either, but apparently this game is, like, not even close to the same, like, level of quality
if they would have called
or
it
style.
Something like
Alan
Awakening.
Oh.
Like just a stupid name.
Alan Wakening, you would have got it.
Yep. I would have said, oh, that sounds fun.
Okay.
But Alan Wake 2 to me says, well,
hey,
I didn't
play
like
the
Alan
first
Wake,
one.
So I don't want that.
Did you beat the first one?
No.
You played it and were like, fuck this.
Yeah, I played it for like a couple hours and was like, nah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. It's a little too like narrative driven.
Yeah, that game was a little too, like, And the problem isn't even that it's linear, but it's a very specific type of linear, where
Yeah.
it's that narrative. Uh, and even then, it's like the narrative isn't like super cut and dry. It's mostly just that like it's not a very engaging game. You know, it stays very samey from beginning to end. You know, and you didn't even get to experience that, but it's if you didn't beat it. But like, dude, you're fighting basically the same enemies the whole game, and like it's basically the same plot the whole game. I don't know. Alan Wake One is fine. It's probably a 3 out of 5 game. Like it's fine. It's passable. But I'm excited for 2. 2 sounds really good. Did you play Control?
No,
Okay.
it's not really my kind of game, you know.
Too narrative driven.
Yep.
That game's a Metroidvania.
No, it's not, because Metroidvanias can't be 3D.
Yeah, it's a 3D Metroidvania. You're right. You're right. You're right. What a stupid statement. It's fucking asinine. I mean, I agree though to an extent. Like, hey, you know,
Like, I didn't play the Metroid Prime remake.
that game sucks.
I
Fucking
like
most overrated.
Metroidvanias, but I don't like 3D Metroidvanias.
We should, you know, what we should start doing is opening up the podcasts, talking about whatever we finished the last one talking about, and we should open it up with like Metroid Prime is a piece of shit, overrated, fucking, you know what I mean?
I don't think that though. I think it's
overrated.
Game's
It's a
a
3 out of 5.
game's a classic.
It's a 3 out of 5.
I don't think that's right.
It is.
I don't think so.
You don't even play it.
Yeah, I have.
You didn't play the remake.
But that's not what you said.
They're the same game. In fact, I would argue the remake is worse because it changes the lighting, and the lighting was cool. Your bullets in the original, like
Yeah, they glue.
They glow. They don't glow no mo.
Switch can't handle it. It's not a fucking monster like
Yeah,
the GameCube
it's not the
was.
GameCube, bro.
The
What are you gonna do?
GameCube fucking has better graphics than the Switch.
That's
Straight up.
probably not right, but
Straight
God, dude, it definitely like relatively did. You know, the GameCube at its time was pumping out shit like RE1, Metroid Prime, you know, some cool looking shit, and then you know on the Switch you get like, hey, like it obviously looks better than the GameCube, but it's
Well, I wouldn't say obviously.
it
The bullets
obviously
don't
is more
glow!
powerful. It's more powerful than the GameCube and has a and can look better than the GameCube, but because games are looking so nice, like dude, the Switch like falls like way short. Yeah. This episode's all over the place. You know what? It's kind of freaky. It's kind of freaking me out.
Freaky Friday.
That's not a Halloween movie. I was thinking like
Shout out Lindsay Lohan.
I was thinking that one movie with the leprechaun, Leprechaun into Hood.
Shout out.
Speaking of hoods, mine is falling down. It's not. You know, it's not really staying up. Really not. Not. My outfit
What's
is not
your
comfortable.
favorite candy to get on Halloween?
Damn, we forgot the candy in the other room.
What's your favorite candy to get? Like, you're going to a house on Halloween, and there's some old lady that you're ready to hit with a stick when she comes out, and you're going to take all
Okay.
the candy that she has, you know, after she drops it and falls.
Oh, okay.
What What candy are you hoping that she's holding when you beat her?
Yeah. Look, I'm probably not hitting that dumb bitch with the stick, but what I am doing is hoping she has Take 5 and Skittles. Those are my go-to default candies. Is fuck that bitch Skittles and some Take 5 of these nuts. What about yours?
What about my what?
Your Zzz.
Man, Skittles suck ass.
I like Skittles. Oh, dude, I have Skittles gummies.
Gross.
They taste just like Skittles, but
Sounds
they're
gross.
gummy.
Yeah, it sounds gross.
Hey, you don't like them? You haven't even
No,
tried.
Skittles
Oh,
are fine. Those
yeah, they're
gummies
okay.
sound gross though.
They taste just like Skittles. I'm so surprised.
I'm a big Twix fan.
Oh, I have Twix.
I'm hoping that old lady's got some Twix on her.
Yeah, when you fucking shove your fucking cane up her. Skittles 0 out of 5 candy, says Travioli. What the fuck, man? That's a decent candy.
See,
What
the
about
chat agrees with me. Skittles are not good.
sour Skittles?
No, sour Skittles are like worse than normal Skittles.
Oh, you think so?
because
They fuck
melt
up your mouth. Yeah, they fuck your mouth up so
They
bad.
obliterate it.
What about Sour Patch Kids?
They're okay.
Okay. Man, I don't really, I feel like, okay, let's back it up. What do you think of our new decorations here, Trav? Can you even see who this guy is? His name's Fuggler. He's a Fuggler. That's not what I was going to back it up to. What I was going to back it up to was the fact that all I played this week was fucking Lords of the Fallen, and that's the same game
You beat Lords of the Fallen 1, right?
Yeah, but
you beat that. Let's talk about.
Did we not? Did we already talk about that? We didn't.
No, because you were still playing. You said that the last.
Oh,
boss was, like, your favorite
okay.
thing.
You're right. Okay, all right. Yeah, let's pick it up. Back it up. Pick it up. Drop it down. 5 out of 5. Here's the thing. The first Lords of the Fallen game that came out in 2014, I beat this week, early this week, and it's garbage. I mean, it's just a piece of shit game. It fell off a cliff. The game is so small. There's so much backtracking and running around and doing shit.
I thought you liked backtracking in Souls games.
Yeah, it was good at first. In this game, I think it was like we were talking about last time. Hey, like that catacombs area or whatever the
catacombs. That's what they.
Oh
catacombs.
Yeah, it's called like the something else in that game. It's called like the hell circle or whatever. But you go down there and you're exploring around, and it really, like, everything links together really interestingly. But then you go to one more area and the game's like over.
That's what I felt, because the game felt like it was almost over.
But there is more to do. So like I went around and explored a bunch of shit, found a bunch of shit, but it's like, oh, through all the areas I've already explored, and I don't know, still 3 out of 5 probably. But you know what? No, I take that back. I'm actually wrong in saying what I just said, because I have already rated this game on my backlogged shout out backlog. You guys are getting a shout out every fucking week. Start getting paid. Backlog.com, I fucking rated it a 2 out of 5. And I think it would be a 3 if it wasn't for the technical issues and just like a disappointing ending.
I don't have the technical issues.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be a major downside.
It's a huge downside. Yeah. And like you said, it could be because I'm playing on PS5. It's like some weird backward compatible bullshit that's not good. But yeah, it's just not a great game. But I finished it. I have no interest in 100%ing it, or going for all the achievements or NG plus or any of that, which all options. Not doing any of that shit. I beat the game and was just like, all right, I'm moving on to the sequel. Which sharing the same name, Lords of the Fallen. Booted that up.
The second Lords of the Fallen.
The second Lords of the Fallen, but not Lords of the Fallen 2. Started that up, and immediately it's just like, holy shit, this game is actually awesome. It's got a nice spooky vibe too, because you can transition basically at any point into the realm of the dead called Umbral. I think it's the realm of the dead. That's what it appears to be. And in there's like a Grim Reaper guy that will like chase you around if you're there for too long. So you're kind of in a rush to like not stay too long. You're looking for a way out because you can't just get out at any point. Like you can go in at any point. You have to exit through certain exit points that you have to find, and but there's also reasons to be there. So you're exploring around, you're finding shit. There's hidden paths that only exist in the Umbral land. So ideally, and it's one of the things I really like about the game. The game feels like I want to be in Umbral all the time, from the perspective of I'm getting more XP because there's more enemies, because spawning dudes all the time. I'm able to go through secret paths and over bridges and stuff that aren't usually there, and there are reasons to not be in Umbral, like sometimes there are paths that are blocked in Umbral, and you have to go back to the real world to go the other way. So it's not like literally all the time you want to be in Umbral, but the game heavily disincentivizes your being in Umbral by constantly ramping up the difficulty up to the point where, like, hey, you have like a really fucking tough enemy that's chasing you around just trying to kill you. And I really like it. I think it works well in the game's favor. It works both in combat and exploration really, really nicely.
Are you ready to admit that the game's better than Lies of P yet?
I'm not ready to admit that it's definitively better, but what I will say is that I like it more. I like it more than Lies of P, because it's doing so much more interesting things with, this Souls-like formula. The world exploration alone is probably better than any other Souls or Souls-like game I've ever played. Like it's rivaling Dark Souls. Like there have been points when you have like your Firelink Shrine type area. It's your hub. It's called like Skyrest Bridge. You go there, or you get there pretty early in the game, and then I just found like hey, I was going through like the whole first level, whatever, blah blah blah, and I found my way back and was like, holy shit, like this is sick. Spoilers, kinda, if you're into that kind of thing. Um, and yeah, I've just been really really surprised and um intrigued by what Lords of the Fallen is doing compared to Lies of P, which is more like, oh, I'm having fun with this. Like I'm. It's a fun game. It's fun to play, but I'm not like wondering what's around every corner. I'm not scared while playing the game. Like Lords of the Fallen, like dude, when you're in Umbral and like time's ticking and like the Grim Reaper starts coming for you, you're like, I find myself sprinting through fucking zones, just like Jesus Christ, please, oh, where's It's tight. It's fun. It's a fun game.
Where are you at, like, rating it so far?
So far, I'd probably say a 4 out of 5. I don't think so it falls short in a couple areas. I think that there's aspects of the sound design and combat that feel a little like light and floaty. Like some of the sounds, like when you parry dudes and when you kill dudes, it goes like dink.
It doesn't give you that. It doesn't give you that nice Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's not like it's not crunchy enough, which is a problem that existed in the first game too. So like, it's not totally solid, but it is better, way better than the first game. Enough to take it, from a 2 to a 4 is pretty extreme. It's possible I could end, with my opinion being at a 5 though. We'll see. I mean, Trav said he sent important updates to our phones, but all he texted me was penis.
Oh, here, I'll check mine.
You want to check yours?
Yeah. Oh.
Let's
see here.
Yeah, what you got? With a smiley face too, I think.
Let's see, I've got a missed call.
Oh, that's not okay.
I've got a message from my brother saying he's down for Phasmo today.
Oh, Phasmo today or tonight?
He said whenever I can.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna be pretty busy. Let's see, I got a push notification.
Oh, okay.
Friday the 13th series review part 2.
Oh shit! I kind of want to watch that. Have you watched part 1?
And then
have you watched part 1 of review? Can you hear me? Am I dying? Am I having a stroke?
I got a message from Travis that says penis smiley face,
Jesus
and then he
Christ.
sent a ghosty.
And a ghosty. That was in mine too.
Yeah. Shout out Trav. Hey, anybody in chat, you can have our phone numbers and text us.
Yeah. I'll definitely give mine out. It's definitely just gonna be a Google Voice number.
Whatever. You can text us. We'll read your
sick.
texts.
Hey, just join the Discord. The Discord's popping, bro.
We'll read your text messages.
Dude, I set up on the Discord.
We'll talk about them on stream, and we'll say, "Oh my god."
We got questions and reaction channels.
Did you see what they texted us? And we'll talk about it. We'll make group texts.
God damn it! You're gonna make me set up a Google Voice number for this? Oh my god! I already have one, but it's separate. I need a different one.
We'll do it.
You set it up. You set up the Google Voice number. This is the worst episode by far, right? I'm so uncomfortable. My fucking mask is digging into my eye socket.
What's wrong with your mask?
It's too tight.
Loosen it.
Dude, it is as loose as it can be.
Jesus. Fucking fat head.
It's loose. It's as loose as my butthole. The thing is, my butthole is fairly tight. It's not the tightest, but it's pretty tight, just like my headband.
Do you think that your butthole is looser as you get older?
I don't know. So I'm gonna go with no for me, but I'm maybe as I get older, it will get looser and looser.
But like so far, you haven't experienced that.
No, I think mine's still pretty tight. Yeah, we'll be right back. I think is now a good time.
Yeah.
Good transition.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit F3.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit F3. we'll be.
Monday left me broken. Tuesday.
I was watching the Red Letter Media like Halloween episode.
Oh yeah.
And fucking Rich Evans comes out and he's wearing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game shirt.
No way.
Yeah.
You like Rich Evans,
dude? I am in sync with him on so much stuff that I'm like, I can't believe I think like this guy. I used to think like, oh, I'm somewhere between like Jay and Mike.
Mike, yeah.
But then it was after the fucking Han Solo movie. I was like,
you know what?
I kind of like that, and you know who's gonna like that is fucking Rich Evans.
And he liked it.
Yeah, the review comes out, and he's like, I kind of liked it. While Mike and Jay shit on it. I was like, I'm bitch. I agree with him on a lot of stuff.
I think I lean toward Mike's opinions. Like Jay
has the worst taste in movies.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I feel you. Because Jay, I think, is a little bit more like movie critic. You know, like he likes
that weird sex.
He likes some weird shit. Yeah, like he's been to Epstein's Island and stuff.
The movie that he recommended, like for their Halloween episode, had Bigfoot raping a.
Yeah, see,
that's a Jay movie.
That's a Jay movie. That sounds about right. Yeah, versus Mike, who's just like, you know, kind of go see movies. Yeah, I definitely relate more. Yeah, that's funny. Speaking of funny, Resident Evil. Back at it again.
Resident Evil sucks.
I like those games. All right, what I wanted to talk about was
Resident Evil 8.
No. We'll talk about that too. Well, what's funny is, yeah, what I wanted to talk about is some of our favorite, you know, Halloween time games, you know, some spooky stuff. And keep in mind,
do you have any game that you're like, oh, it's Halloween time, I'm going to play this again?
Play this again? Yeah, I think like RE1 Remake, I think is one that like, oh, I would go back and do that if I didn't have such a long list of games that I currently want to play.
That, though. Never been like, it's Halloween, let me go back and play.
I have, I can't remember. But probably
so
not.
Don't have a single game you've ever done that.
I don't think so. There's not that many games that I've gone back and replayed.
I think we have. I think we did it for the Friday the 13th game.
For the Friday the 13th? Played that on Halloween?
Like, maybe not on Halloween,
but around
like,
Halloween.
Oh, hey, it's October.
That would make sense.
We fell off of it, but hey, it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. Let's go play. That sounds right. What's funny is I wouldn't do that for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Texas
game.
Chainsaw Massacre got fucking ruined.
I love that you were able to say it so correctly. Yeah, they ruined that game. They fucking disabled crossplay for so long that I just gave up. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just not gonna revisit that.
Have we talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre on
I don't know that
podcast?
If we have, briefly.
That game's good.
That's a fun game.
Yeah, that is a fun game to play. But the hacking issue was so pronounced.
It happened fast too. It was like, hey, we had like a week where it was like we're playing the game, having a good time, and then like it was like, wait a minute, are people hacking? Like after a handful of days, you know, it was like
it's
5,
so crazy.
6 days.
I love the process,
and
of
then
like,
just like, holy shit, everyone's definitely hacking.
You go from like, it's like an intrusive thought almost when you're playing games,
right. You're
of like,
come on,
someone's cheating. Like, and as somebody, you know, we've both hacked in video games before. You know how insane it is from like a player perspective of like, hey, dude, somebody has an insane advantage.
Yes, somebody is looking through walls and shit, like
they can
UFO teleporting around. Yeah.
And so it's interesting. You play a new game like Texas Chainsaw Massacre
because you don't know really.
especially with a newer game.
Well, yeah, you don't even know like
You're
the extent of like, oh, is that person really good or are they hacking? Like, do they just know what to do?
And that game's a little buggy, so when
And
weird
it's
shit
jank.
happens, you're like, maybe it was just some jankery. Like, oh, that guy appeared to teleport out at the last second and escape, but oh man, maybe he was there and it just, he was
So
kind
it's
of
like the process is like you play the game, some stuff happens, and eventually you start to question it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I think I'm seeing some stuff. Let me like look it up. Then you
Mhm.
look it up, and it's like,
Oh
fucking
yeah, everyone's cheating.
demos of the hacks, and you're like, oh my god. And then you get into lobbies and you just start
Right.
seeing it.
You start noticing it,
everywhere.
and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it got really bad in that game
Super
to the point
disincentivizing.
that they had to disable crossplay, like
And-
you mentioned earlier.
And here's the thing. I hate that they did that because I like that there's a workaround of you can disable crossplay on your own fucking game, but that they disabled it for everyone across the board meant like, hey, even if I'm okay with like maybe running into some hackers, I can still play
Makes
with
me
my
wonder
friends.
if there was a bigger issue, like a security
yeah,
issue or
yeah,
something.
that's what it makes me wonder as well. Like they're using that as an excuse. Like, oh well, because of the rampant hacking on PC, it's like, well, dude, it's not just hacking. It's like they have source code and shit. It's fucked up.
I don't understand how anti-cheat works because they use the cheat, the one with like the blue,
Yeah,
like bare face or whatever when you put it on
Uh-huh,
PC. I've seen that in a bunch of games. I've seen that in like Fighters uses
Mhm,
that. And my assumption was the reason that you purchase an out of the box anti-cheat is it works.
yeah,
And it's like you don't have to deal with a
Right.
rampant amount of like, hey, some
Right.
people might have workarounds, but the whole reason you do this out of the box thing is there's a company that's working for you that is like implementing methods of detection and
Right,
screening
right.
it, and it's like isn't that the whole point of why
Yeah.
you bring on an anti-cheat?
Yeah.
And so it was strange to see it go
Like,
from,
hey, you have that anti cheat, and it's insane. It's not like, hey, some guys are squeaking through,
No,
little
it's
mouse here
every
and there.
game, it
Bro,
feels like.
it was extreme. So I have a perspective on that I think is probably how it came to be, which is that like, hey, they did the bare minimum with the anti cheat, which would mean that like, hey, there's probably some base level detection that the game would catch, or that the client would catch, and flag you as cheating. I also expect that it's like, hey, all they're doing is flagging, like, hey, this user with this ID
Not
is like,
active.
it's flagged. Like it's not
anti-cheat.
it's not like it's going to act upon it because hey, that's going to depend on whether it's Steam or Epic or on whatever, like depending on the platform. So that's going to be on the developer's hand to be like, hey, this user was flagged as cheating, let's do something based on that information. But I think they did the bare minimum in terms of the implementation, which means they probably so for example, I'm a web developer and there's this tool that I've used, this software I've used called Sentry, and it's for error analytics, so that you can, with one line of code, you pop it into your website and it'll start capturing every console error and dumping it into like a dashboard so that you can see the frequency of errors and which ones are need addressing, and it gives you a little bit of insight, but out of the box it's just dumping errors into a thing. But what you can do is you can actually use their APIs to go in and say, oh, when this specific thing happens, like, hey, when the user hits save here, if there's an error here,
So you're saying
I log a
you're saying
specific
they're
thing.
getting the flags from the anti-cheat.
They're
and then
doing
it's on
something.
The
They're
developer
technically
to do nothing.
they're technically using the anti-cheat, but they're not taking advantage of it.
Right.
And I think that like, oh, that's why it's taking so long to fix as well, or maybe it's fixed by now. Who fucking cares?
It's been
I'm
months.
dead game. More dead than Dark Souls 3, honestly. Probably not. But yeah, I would expect that it's something like that, where like technically we have implemented this software and we're paying for it. Could also be a pricing tier thing where maybe they're paying for the lowest tier of something, and then it's like, hey,
It's not surprising to
know.
me that the game has some major that's a technical issue. I'll call anti-cheat a technical issue. Because you
For sure,
look at
for
the
sure.
structure of the game and it's like, okay, this the gameplay was clearly made by somebody who had an idea of what the fuck a game did. Like, who knows what's going on in a game?
The concept is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's a lot of like the stuff built around the game, like the meta progression, the respecting characters. Like, somebody had a really I don't know how the fuck these companies do this with the asymmetric horror games that they've been releasing now for like 8 years.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight, F13.
I don't know if there's like some consultant that they bring on that's like, oh, these are the people that understand how to make these kinds of games.
So I have a little insight there, which is that F13 and Texas Chainsaw are published by the same publisher, but they're not the developer. And if you go to their website, they're called Gun 13. No, they're called Gun.
Yeah, Team Gun.
Yeah, Team Gun. If you go to their website, I might be mixing it up. Maybe they're Gun's the developer, but I'm pretty sure Gun's the developer or the publisher, and they specifically call out that like their specialty is like helping with game design. Like I think that they have people there that like, hey, we're not developers, but we have the game ideas, you know. And so that it literally is like, hey, like we had the idea for F13, we found a developer to make it. We had the idea for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we found the developer to make it. So that it's coming from the same minds that do understand, like, hey, what should make this game work?
The moment to moment
farming
gameplay,
out the development and the the important stuff.
When you're in a lobby, everything makes sense in terms of basically the balance of the game and the way the game's structured.
It's just
incredibly well thought out, and you're playing.
Yep,
hey, this makes sense. This is a game.
Yeah, even like the variety of characters and their different powers, like at a base level, like this should work.
But then you get into the leveling system, characters,
right?
And it's
the
like
weird
all
skill tree
those
shit
weird systems, and it's like that doesn't.
Like
maybe that's made by the same
gelling.
people, but yeah, it's clearly not somebody's forte of what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Their idea was the game, and then it's like, well, how do you make this like, into like all these systems, live service, whatever. Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably right. Is that because somebody gets it is the thing. Somebody at Gun most likely.
They
really does get
at least part of it.
Yeah. At least part of it. At least the core gameplay. Like, oh yeah, it's fun. Like ASIM multiplayer shit should be like this. And I like both of those games more than Dead by Daylight. And Dead by Daylight, somebody doesn't quite get it, but they're trying.
You're gonna piss off a lot of people.
Fuck that game. So,
talking shit about DBD.
Holy shit, though. I just realized there's a whole topic we can talk about that is so relevant to Halloween, which is one of your favorite movies.
Barbarian.
One of my favorite movies, Barbarian, yeah.
Oh, because they just announced that.
Because I don't know if it was announced or leaked.
It's the developer, I think, not the team. It's the developer of Friday the 13th.
Oh,
and
so
the Evil Dead game.
Oh, and that's another. Isn't that also like an ASIM?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have super high hopes, but we had talked about this weeks ago. Months, yeah, like a long time ago. That like, oh man, a Barbarian video game could actually be sick.
If you haven't seen Barbarian, it's a movie.
There's about to be some spoilers potentially
really
too.
Good.
If we want to talk about this.
If you haven't seen Barbarian, skip to this timestamp.
Just stop watching. Turn off the video. Go watch
this
Barbarian. Come back in 2 hours.
Yeah, just watch the movie, pause the video, go watch the movie.
I promise watching Barbarian is way better than this. Way better than watching our pod. Go watch Barbarian. Great movie.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the best movies I've ever seen.
So we're going to get into some spoilers here because it's hard to talk about what like this potential game could be without spoiling what the movie is, because the movie starts out and it's girl shows up to an Airbnb, but it's already booked, and there's kind of a creepy guy that's there, and you're wondering, is he a killer? Like, what's going on? This is very sus. And that's the intro premise to the movie, right? And anything beyond that is massive spoilers, I would say, right? Like, okay. Yeah. Turns out he's not a killer. He dies. Like it gets fucking crazy. And what it actually is that there's this there's these underground tunnels connecting houses in the neighborhood, at least 2 houses, but it could be more. Made by some guy 50 fucking years ago who is a serial killer, and he's been breeding women.
Yeah, he's not really a serial killer.
Yeah,
he's a serial rapist. He captures women to breed them.
He's a barbarian,
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and then the monster of the movie, which going into it, you have no idea there's going to be a fucking like monster. That was just so shocking the first time you watch it, and you watch fucking the guy that looks like you die.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. You watch him fucking die, and it's just like this monster with fucking. She got her titties hanging out. It's wild. And it's like, yeah, she's like this like multi-generational fucking inbred monster woman who's like trying to treat all the people that she's capturing as like little babies, and she's trying to get them to suck on her titties and feed them with her titty milk. She's watching this video that's about like breastfeeding. It's really fucking weird. Like, I'm not just talking about the titties because like I'm a weirdo. The movie really puts an emphasis on the fact that there's a whole thing around breastfeeding, right? I'm not tripping. But the idea for the game could be that like, hey, somebody is the monster, right?
So when we had talked about this forever ago, I think you had mentioned the possibility of a game.
I was like, it could be sick.
And then I was like, you know what would be sick is somebody's the monster, and then everybody else is the homeless people.
Because there's also one homeless guy in the movie.
It's framed in a way
where there's probably more homeless people.
Yeah, so he talks about her, and he's, it seems like there's
and the homeless guy comes across originally as maybe he's bad
crazy,
guy.
Yeah,
crazy. But then it turns out like he was trying to be.
So the Airbnb that the girl like goes into at the start is like, the whole neighborhood's dilapidated, and there's a flashback to the Barbarian in the past, and the neighborhood was good, but it's people leaving the neighborhood, and it gets run down over time.
Yeah.
And so there's now homeless.
It's in like Detroit, isn't it? Like it's
somewhere like that.
It's like
there's now transients
Detroit. It's fucked up.
That occupy parts of the neighborhood, and at some point the main girl, she escapes the house after the monster's in there. She finds out the monster's there. She escapes from the hole.
Yeah,
and a homeless guy is like, explaining to her, like, she's been here forever. She comes out at night and hunts or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, there seems like the game wouldn't work if it's like, you're a bunch of people, you're in the house. Like, to me, that sounds terrible.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be more of like a blend. So I agree that like, hey,
will some people be cops? Will some people be...
Yeah, like one guy's like, I don't know if anybody's going to be a cop because that could be busted, but I think that there will be a variety. Like, hey, you're going to have stand-ins for the girl, the guy, and the guy,
I
and
think it's
the
gonna
homeless
be,
guy.
I think it's going to be all homeless people.
I don't think that it's going to be. It's just a fun idea, but I don't expect them to do that.
How do you...
Because imagine the people who own the rights to Barbarian and like what they're like what they would imagine of their brand, and it's not the homeless people against the fucking titty bitch.
That sounds like it had been set up though in the movie where they're like, the homeless people have lived here for a while. They
die.
Deal with her. They die sometimes. It's like, that seems like the framing.
So regardless of who you play as, I think that what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to. I think you're going to have to escape from houses. You're going to have to break into houses. There's going to be incentive to go into the underground. Maybe the
houses are going to be all connected with tunnels.
It could also be like Texas Chainsaw where you start in the underground and you have to escape.
You have to escape.
Yeah.
I hope that sounds probably what it'll be. It won't
be
like
that's more that sounds more obvious, right? But there's also going to be a thing where you have to go find the Barbarian guy. You got to go find him, and then if you bring him a gun, he'll kill himself. And it triggers a thing. Maybe you're gonna whatever.
There'll be
going to be a thing around that. There's going to be stuff where if you go to the top of the water tower, you can get her to jump off. They're gonna. I would expect there's going to be some stuff from the movie there, but your goal is going to be get the fuck out of this neighborhood, right?
Yeah, because if you're all homeless people, what's the goal?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, just survive, but maybe that's it. Maybe hey, it's just survive the night. A little Five Nights at Freddy's action.
I'm interested to see what they do. I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean that movie's so good. It's way better than Friday the 13th. I'm gonna say better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It probably is,
I think it's better.
but that is also a good movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a great movie.
Great movie. Way better than Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So backing it up a little bit, when we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre a couple months ago, I was expecting something much more like Friday the 13th or
Campy.
a little bit more campy, and I was surprised how like arty and like. And the fact that Tarantino says like, oh, it's one of his top 5 like best movies of all time. I'm like, I see that influence on Tarantino's movie. Like it's very clearly like an interesting movie. It's not just like horror movie schlock. It's way better than that. Like it's 4 out of 5, I think. But yeah, Barbarian is probably better than that. And I think having such like a strong IP behind the game, and the fact that we were even like talking about the potential that you could make with that game, with this genre that's being kind of created right now, I think it has so much potential.
Okay, so
it could land and be like, oh, it was the one that fucking
let's say it's
solidified the
let's
genre.
say
It's the
game.
Dark
It comes
Souls.
out. You're playing. Everybody's gonna play as a survivor, just like they do in all these games.
Some sort of survivor. There's a
You're a
you
survivor.
play as the homeless
Does
man.
everybody
whatever.
start in like the same hole? Everybody, if
No
that's the
fucking
case,
way.
everybody's starting in the tunnels. You're in the
I do
tunnels.
think you're gonna, but it makes me wonder. Maybe one person starts as the. I was kind of wondering too. What's the scale of the game? Because you could do 1v4, or you could do 1v7 or 1v8. You know, like, but it has to be one. There's no chance.
Yeah, nobody can be on the monster side.
Yeah,
it's
just
a one.
it's more like F13 in that regard. And I think it would be cooler if it was less people. So if it was like a 1v4, sounds cool. And what's cool is that there are 4 people in the movie that we meet aside from the cops. I would think that the cops would be more F13. Hey, maybe calling the cops is way out. But the
and
movie
also,
sets that
you're not
up. It's not a
including
thing.
the girl's interview.
Oh yeah, and I'm not including.
Or 4 people.
But I mean, in
4
terms
people
of,
encounter the monster.
or people encounter the monster. So it would be cool if one person is in the Airbnb, one person is in the tunnels, one person's homeless and like out on the street, and then the other person starts on the street or something. I don't know. Like, but you could set it up where everyone kind of has different starting zones depending on who you're playing, and then. Or you could throw everybody just like, hey, everyone starts in the tunnels and you got to.
Okay, is there a time of day mechanic?
That also sounds awesome because they call out that she comes out at night. So you could start it in like, I would start it if it was me, like early evening where like, dude, the sun's going down. Like clock's ticking. You know, it's not noon.
She's stuck in the tunnels until.
Stuck in the tunnels. And then once nighttime hits, then she's going to be incentivized to come out of the tunnels. And maybe you make it a mechanic where, oh, like, being in the daylight, like, oh, she either can't go out or if she takes damage in the daylight or something, you know. But if she is like, hey, early on, and maybe that's what it is. There's 2 people outside and 1 person and 2 people down the tunnels, and then it's like, oh, she's locked down. But then why wouldn't the people outside just fucking leave? How do you leave? You know.
That's why it's like, does everybody start in the tunnels?
But then there's no point in the time of day.
Yeah, there is.
Because like, oh, like if I got out early, now she can't get me. But like, I don't know. It just doesn't expand enough. Like, oh, I got out. Okay.
Well, you're in a house now, right? You get out. The tunnels all connect to homes. How do you get out of the house? And if presumably she can still walk around the house during the day. Because you escaped the tunnel,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you've escaped her.
The house is. I mean, you're talking out of the basement up through the front door. If you're basing it on the movie, oh, the front door's that's not something that's in the movie. It's like I'm locked in the house, you know. So that they would have.
Bro, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game puts locks on things. That
yeah. So
doesn't fucking happen.
is she doing that? Yeah. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying that these things are impossible.
Just saying that
I'm just wondering how they're
these
going to put that
games,
stuff together.
fucking in Friday the 13th, fucking Freddy Krueger teleports around and like he has.
More like Freddy Juger.
I'm just saying there are all sorts of analogs for stuff that in these games
Yeah,
that
yeah,
aren't one to one with the
They
movie.
aren't one to one.
That are there to
You're
make
right,
a
you're
game
right.
work.
Yeah, that makes the game work. And that's what I'm wondering is kind of
Hitchhiker doesn't place little. Wait, does he place bone traps around?
no. Yeah, Sissy's not even in the first movie.
Johnny's not in it.
Those are I don't even know if those are made up characters or if they're from sequels or something. But yeah. What I would like is different characters that start in different places. I think my ideal version is not everybody gets out, right? It's kill the monster. I think that's the best case. And that would be something that the other games don't really do enough. Like, oh, kill the monster
as the goal.
Yeah, because you can do that in F-13, but it's like But that is how the game ends or that's how the movie ends. I mean, in Barbarian. Big spoilers.
Ruined the whole movie.
Oh yeah, big time.
Ruined.
But hey, again, we preface that with
no, I'm
literally
saying, you were
stop
like,
watching.
Big spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did that already.
If the reality is everyone's going to start in the basements and you gotta fucking. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be you got to get out. It's
walk around the tunnels and find a key to pick a lock.
And I think basically getting out of tunnels is going to be the whole game, and then getting to the streets is going to be like. I think the whole game's going to happen at night.
I like the idea of survive the night. Starts during the day. Everybody's homeless. Got a couple minutes. Go and you find mats to craft shit, and you make a little base. And
Holy
you try
shit!
to fucking survive, and then the
It'd be
monster
so
comes
wild.
out and just fucking starts slaughtering everybody.
Yeah,
you're just trying to live. If sun comes up, cut out. Part of a little roaming vagabond.
I honestly think that version of the game works better because then there's no incentive to escape because the idea is like,
no, you're foraging in homes.
I live here. I'm gonna try to survive. There should be ways to kill her though. Which involves...
I mean, not all, because you can't do that in, like, Texas Chainsaw, but most of the games have that.
Yeah. And going down
kill.
And finding the barbarian guy, like, oh, maybe that's how you get the gun that you kill her with type of thing. So it's like, but to get
First
there...
you have to find the
key,
evidence.
Yeah, something, yeah.
You have to go and search for his smut rape films and homes, collect them, and then you bring them to him and play them. And that's,
how much of that do you think is going to be in the fucking video game?
That's what causes him to blow his brains out, and then you get the gun after you find the tape.
That's the plot of the movie, but like, I wonder how deep they're going to go with that.
I hope they do the homeless survive the night.
Homeless people surviving and like really leaning into the fact that he's a raper. Shout out Tim Allen is crazy.
Oinks.
I don't think that. I don't think it's gonna happen like that. I think it's gonna be, and here's my take. Gonna be disappointing, is most likely the case, but every single one of these ASIM games.
I mean, I think you're fucking nuts if you're walking into it and you're like, I've got high hopes. You're what?
Right, because I mean, to me, it's solely from the perspective that none of these ASIM or multiplayer games have been something to get to warrant further excitement. You know,
they're all scuffed.
They're all scuffed.
janky.
They all have some sort of weird problems. They're all very indie. You know, it would be crazy to see somebody like Santa Monica Studios make something fucking in this genre. Like, I would love to see like some huge like narrative AAA developer be like, "Fuck it, dude, we're making an ASIM multiplayer like soup."
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, like, dude, something crazy. Because, I mean, sometimes those studios will jump into live service, right? Like, you see, like bigger companies kind of starting to adopt that live service model. But, like, dude, make something niche. You know, if you're a big studio, you're a fucking Bungie or
I don't think those ASIM horror games are niche. I think that's like
that's the thing, is that they're really not. But I
Yeah.
think that they're looked at as niche because they're indie, you know?
I think that the fact that those games have gotten as big as they have,
Is proof that
as
they're
scuffed as
actually
they
not
are, is
niche.
like, dude, that's a mainstream genre.
Like,
That's,
bro, like,
somebody threw some money behind one of those ideas.
yeah,
that would catch on.
Bethesda, or, you know, I mean, that's a horrible
not
example. But yeah, somebody big makes a fucking ASIM game. I could easily see it getting some traction. But you got to do it right. You know, you can't just be like, oh, let me throw my hat in the ring. You know, you really gotta. innovate. And I think that like F13.
You don't have to actually, because all these
Right,
games
'cause
have
they've all-
licensing
they've all-
issues and die.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, you can just rehash the concepts that work.
Who made the Evil Dead game?
Same guys that made the Friday the 13th.
Oh, it was the same developers. That's
same
right.
dev
We already talked about that, right? Who published it? You know? Yeah, I wonder like how. Oh yeah. Let's look it up. Travis, you want to look up? Trav.
Look it up, Trav.
I think this background is better. You know, despite the fact that you can't really tell what's going on, this is already a better, slightly more interesting background than what we had been rocking. You know what I mean? Don't you agree? Don't thou agrees? Hey? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Join the Discord. Discord link is wait. I don't think I've made a Discord link actually. I don't even think we have a link to the Discord. That's my bad. I'll put that together so then this will make sense when you view it. I'll probably do that today.
Developer Saber Interactive. That's the Friday the 13th guys.
Yeah, Saber.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
The publisher is Boss Team Games, and they don't have a
nobody.
Wikipedia link.
Fucking nobody. They're nobody. They literally just found some rando publisher. Yeah, it needs to.
How do you publish a game if you've never published game?
Money. Just people with money that make shit happen.
Okay, so their games are Evil Dead the Game, Cobra Kai Card Fighter.
Yikes.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, not good. Not a good track record, I would say. But yeah, man, I think wait, and so the Barbarian game's being made by these people? Is that right?
No, it's being made by Saber.
Yeah, by Saber, by the developers. That already doesn't give me super high hopes. I think the development is probably the worst part of F13. Not good. The Evil Dead game, not super popular. Really didn't take off. Way worse than, in terms of sales and, number of players, whatever. Probably reviews as well as Texas Chainsaw. Yeah, I don't have a lot of high hopes for the Barbarian game, but the fact that someone recognized that, hey, you could make an ASIM out of this. I'm like, hey, man, let me join your team. I'll start applying
for what it's worth. Saber is also the team making Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
No way. That's crazy.
I didn't realize that was the developer.
Did they make the first one?
Oh, man.
That's what leads me to believe that, hey, they're just a development studio that, and that, Gunn had the idea for the F13 game and, like, basically worked with a development studio to get that game made, but they probably did it in a rush timeline, low budget way. So maybe Saber is now like, fuck it, man. Like, we could actually make something good if we put our full weight behind it, and maybe they're doing that.
Apparently, they also have a Quiet Place game in development.
That could work. Yeah, that leads me to believe more so. Yeah, that hey, they're like
they didn't make the first Warhammer 40K.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Space Marine 1 was a different studio.
That makes sense.
The second one. The second ones look good from the previews
Yeah,
and
the second
stuff
one looks good. I know Ross is really excited about it. Shout out Ross. You don't know Ross?
Ross, you aren't watching, you stupid fucking clown.
Well, he might be watching now.
Stupid fucking clown. Not gonna see.
Does it feel great having your helmet off? Because I fucking am so happy not wearing this.
Ross, if you're watching this, send me
stupid
a text,
fucking
send
clown.
me a text message that says
no
SFC.
SFC. Yeah, that's how you'll know. Yeah,
that's how I'll know if you watched this. If you don't send me that text message, I'll know you didn't watch this.
Yeah. Good point. But maybe what if he messages you like SSC, like he misheard?
Watch this.
Well, what if he watched but had the audio muted?
Then he didn't watch this.
What if he listened on Spotify podcasts?
Then he didn't watch this.
What if he listened on Apple Podcasts? He does have he does have an iPhone, so he might be watching on Apple. We do put, we stream these live every Saturday, and then we, by the way, we will not be having a podcast episode next week.
Shout out coronavirus. I'm going to go with 99% sure we'll be at a bachelor party over the weekend. And so, we'll probably just never do this again is the reality. Hey, 1 week off, we're fucked up. It's fucked. This is the last episode?
Might be. You never know.
This is the last episode, guys.
I might die in Sholo.
Last episode.
I'll be in Sholo. If you're in Sholo,
You're DDoSing. No, people.
I'll be in Sholo. I
They
don't
know that we
even know
live in
where.
Sholo.
don't even know where in Sholo. I had the address. I'll post it. Yeah, I mean, I've never really gone back to any horror games for Halloween specifically or anything like that. But I have, replayed some games, when I feel that spooky vibe. And I particularly
Halloween's my least favorite holiday.
shout out earlier in the
Shout
episode
out.
when John's mic was fucked up. You didn't hear him say he fucking loves Halloween. I'm looking pretty Christ-like right now, right?
I have some weird obsession with looking.
Look. If you're listening on Spotify or something like that, Spotify is also a video podcast.
Spotify Platinum. Subscribe.
This is definitely the worst episode. Easily.
We're done, aren't we?
I mean, look, here's the thing. It'll be the shortest episode.
Fine. Have to be.
You're right.
Plus, I got to get home.
Damn. Thanks for watching.
My
we
car
really
is.
appreciate
I don't
you.
have a car.
Oh, yeah, you drove your dad's car? Shout out. Shout out dads,
And the episode.
Struggling, man. Let's just wait 23 more minutes.
No,
About 23 and me.
it's fine. It's an hour and a half. That's
See, I think the biggest problem with this episode is that I didn't get high first.
No, we had no material.
Well, we literally had a whole setup. We wore costumes. We were going to talk about Alan Wake. We were going to talk about, and we just fucking blasted
None of us
through
fucking
anything.
played Alan Wake. What the fuck are we going to talk about?
Look, it's not working.
Gotta press F3.
It's not fucking
You're
working.
pressing F2.